Hey, fellow adventurers. I'm John Kowalski. The OG Dice Jockey is my handle on most social media. I just wanted to talk a little bit today about what I'm seeing online about people, new players, new TTRPG players, new D&D players, and there seems to be some kind of consensus that people need to know a lot before they can start playing a TTRPG. And it's just not true. So I'm going to talk about just a few things that you should consider before you start playing. But I want to encourage you from the start that you do not need to know anything to start playing. You just need to want to find a group, find a good DM or GM that's going to teach how to play, and be patient as you learn the game. Okay, we all were there. We all started somewhere. We all were a first-time player. We were all making bad decisions and just doing weird things at first, and that's okay. It's part of the fun of the game is to learn that. So I just want to encourage you to, if it's something that you're interested in, go do it. Just get started. Find the group. Whether you do virtual tabletop online, you do marketplace games, whatever. Do that, okay? There are three things that I think are most important that you pick up and learn fairly quickly, or at least try to learn, and that's character creation, combat mechanics, and role-playing. So character creation is pretty simple. Depending on which TTRPG you're using, there are resources all over the internet. If it's D&D, there's D&D Beyond. Demiplane website has a bunch of tools for creating characters, and every TTRPG that's out there has a rule book that you can use to create characters for your game. The players in your particular game are probably going to have that book available to you and will help you through the character creation portion of it. What I would recommend, though, as a first-time player is don't go crazy with your first character. Don't make 14 pages of backstory and all these personality traits that you have to remember as you play and learn the game. Keep it simple. Don't necessarily recreate you as a player or as a character either. The whole point of TTRPGs is to get away from life, to get away from the world around us. So create a character that you're going to enjoy playing, that you're going to have fun playing. Maybe it's based on a popular comic book character or a TV show character or someone that you know whose personality you think might be fun to goof around with. So start there. Combat mechanics are pretty simple in most games, all right? It can get complicated, I get that, but it really breaks down to portions. For example, in D&D, you've got an action, a bonus action, and movement. So you have those three aspects of what you're trying to do, and you need to think about that. So the best way to do that is simply just learn your character sheet a little bit. Maybe jot down some notes, like in a ranged situation, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take cover, I'm gonna fire my crossbow, and maybe you don't have a bonus action that might work well for that. If you're a cleric and it's a ranged situation, maybe your action is going to be to fire a ranged weapon of some sort. Then as a bonus action, cast spiritual weapon, which can go across the field next to the opponent and provide an additional attack for you. In each bonus round, you can then subsequently move it if you need to in that case. And then movement might be to move enough to take cover, move out of cover, take a shot, move back into cover, that kind of thing. So think of some just basic maneuvers that you're going to do, and then as you learn what your capabilities are of your character, you can mix it up a little bit. And then as your character grows, they're going to get more capabilities, and you're going to be able to fill in the blanks with those in special circumstances. Use the time when it's not your turn to kind of determine what you want to do. You'll find that it's a common thing in TTRPGs that whoever goes right before you in initiative is probably going to mess up what you were planning. So maybe have a couple plans. And then the last thing is the role-playing aspect. That's the most fun part of it for me. The suspension of disbelief, the acting in a situation and situations that you would never be in as a person in our world. That's the most fun part of it. So delve into that character. You don't have to know your character top to bottom, front to back. You don't have to memorize every bit of their backstory. You don't have to do any of that. It's helpful to know that as you go along. It's going to become commonplace. Have your character sheet handy, whether it's on your device or on paper. Have a written copy, maybe highlighted with a few key points about your background. At least know your character's traits, so you know how they might react in a certain situation, and then just be them, right? What would they do in this situation? Not what would you do if a dragon was breathing down your neck. What would they do? That's more common in their world than it is in our world. So, don't try to be you, be them in that situation. So don't overthink it. I think that's the biggest problem, is people will get like brain freeze when it comes to a certain situation because they're trying to think like them. There's no dragon going to attack you at your workplace. So there is no, parallel between your world and theirs really, except for you. You are you, and you are play acting this character in this situation. So don't try to be you in their situation, be them. So I think those are great things to start with, but that's not the starting point. The starting point is get in a game. So find a game, whatever you have to do. If you need help, reach out to me. Private message me on any of the social medias, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. Various options. I do both live games and marketplace games. I do games geared toward one-shots, geared toward new players learning how to play, and I'd be happy to do that for you in a group of other people who want to learn too. Who knows? Maybe that'll become your first regular group, and we can move on at some point when you feel more comfortable into a campaign type situation. So the last thing I'm going to say on this is it's really up to you how far you go with it. Just be willing to learn from day one. Always immerse yourself in the game. Be part of the game. Don't just sit there waiting for everybody else to tell you what to do. Be your character. Be big, be bold. Do crazy things that might just work if you roll it correctly. And then most importantly of all, have fun. That's the whole point of playing TTRPGs, is to get away from the world for a little while, forget about our day-to-day jobs and problems and relationships and all of that stuff, politics, whatever it is that drives you crazy in the real world. Forget about it and go have different things drive you crazy in a fake world. So I'm going to pause this for a minute, and then I'm going to kind of change gears a little bit and show you something that's one of my favorite parts of DMing or GMing games, and that's building set pieces for the actual battles and fights in the game. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch the camera view, and I'm going to show you some of what I do. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm going to show you around just a little bit. This is our dungeon in the basement here where we play when we don't have too many people to fit down here. This is some of my 3D printed or purchased miniatures, and a lot of that stuff got moved upstairs. Our group has changed a little bit, and a few people who've been regulars with us haven't been at the game for a few weeks. So while the group's been smaller, we've been playing upstairs in a little more comfort. You can see this is a set piece from last week's session where they were sent to a farmhouse to investigate a situation, a dream that some of them had shared, and it went total chaos on them. Some of my favorite tools to use, Dungeon Craft, this legend set dungeon system is amazing. I love these walls. I use them for just about everything. I know this was a farmhouse, but I use the same walls for it. There can be a little imagination. Of course, you always need a map so that you know what you're building to. I do those on Incarnate. If you haven't tried it, it's amazing for doing maps. And this is the starting point. I built some of the walls and stuff so that I didn't bore you with too much of that stuff. And then I've got some of the pieces collected together that I might need to kind of dress it up as I go. So I'm going to set this up, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about how to, design maybe the adventure, the map for the battle, so that it's big enough to accommodate all of the players and characters that are going to be in this battle, but not too big for manageability. You don't want people to have to run 70 feet and constantly be using their movement and their action as a dash action to get into the battle. So you want it to be close enough together where they're not spaced too far apart, but also enough room to fit everybody. When we have a pretty big group, when everybody shows up, we can have 10 to 12 players. You're not going to fit 10 to 12 players in a small room like this. So they tend to get split up. Some of them are pretty new players, so they get easily distracted as well. And they'll go running off. They'll see something that nobody else saw, and they'll go running off, and then maybe soon enough get caught running back into the group to get some help. So you just build the walls out to the map that I specified here that I did on Incarnate, and then I'm just basically going to fill in the rooms, and it doesn't have to be 100% exact, because it doesn't really matter. The players don't see the actual map. They're just going to see what you've created. So I've got a table there. I've got some chairs around the table. Pretty easy. I like to leave my map from the previous one together until I do the next one, and that way I'm not constantly putting everything away and then having to recreate the wheel, pull everything back out of boxes and containers. So you'll see I'll go back and forth and I'll grab what I need from the other map. I just use poster putty to keep everything down and keep it from sliding around too much. That way, in the heat of the battle, we're not chasing things that fell or got knocked around. So we've got a kitchen here. We've got a bedroom over here. So I've got some beds here that I can pull out, and some dressers, bookshelves that I can pull out and put in the room. There's a nice little bed and a bookshelf, and here's another bookshelf with a bed. So that's easy to do. Over here we had a little fireplace. We'll call that the fireplace there. And then there's some chairs over there. I'll use these for the chairs there. Outside, that's the first floor. So outside, if we're going to continue to work the first floor, this is a functioning farm, so these stables will have horses in them. All right, so we've got most of the first floor done, with the possible exception of one person who kind of got caught in the crossfire here. And the party, hopefully when they bust into this place, they're gonna do a search, and they're gonna find a body in one of the bedrooms of, they assume, somebody who lives at this farmhouse, okay? So I did a second floor, and I'm gonna set it on top, and you can print like a matching grid and tape it to a piece of cardboard, and then you've got your second floor that you can pop on top when they head upstairs. So they're going to come up the stairs here, but they're going to get ambushed, and there's going to be a couple of guards. And then back here in this room is one of their big bads. Here, let me show you this one. Let me get it. Let's see. That is a character named Vixen. And she's been chasing them. She's a changeling ranger, and there's a reason why. She's been kind of following them and harassing them at every turn. She tried to turn one of their newer members against the rest of the group, so she'll be involved, okay? So we have some stuff. We have, I guess, more furniture, we can say, is up here. We can put a few more things in here, just things that are in the way, dungeon dressing, so to speak. We can put a dresser in this bedroom. When I go to switch the map out, I'll pull the bed up. I only have a couple of them printed right now. Gets pretty expensive printing all these digital prints. But I love doing it, and I love how it looks and feels game-wise. So that's what's going to happen. So there's going to be a guy in here. There's going to be a guy in here or here hiding in wait, and we'll start launching crossbow bolts and arrows at the party when they come up the stairs. They're the frontline fighters, while these two, Crix is a kobold wizard, and she'll be launching some spells down there at them. And of course, our ranger will be firing arrows at them. Their kind of mechanic is that they're going to try to escape. They're only going to remain for about 3 rounds. They're gonna unload AOE, area of effect type stuff, and then they're out. She's going to open a portal, and they're going to portal out of there. Outside, I want it to look a little bit like a farm. They are going to have to sneak up to this house. The infiltrators don't necessarily know that they've been caught, and they may not have been. Depends on whether the party catches the hints that are laying around, that are planted throughout the prior adventure. They're coming through the mountains. There are going to be clues in the mountains that they will either see or miss. And if they see them, great. If they miss them, then they're not going to really have any idea what's going on in town until it is reported to them that some people are missing, not reporting, aren't where they're supposed to be. That'll be the how that's going to happen if they don't catch the clues. the DCs aren't super high for the clues that were left. So I've got a few sheep. I got a few cows in a pen. There are horses that will be in here. This one is Crix, by the way. Let me try to get her in focus. That's our little kobold wizard, who's part of this adventure too. The guys that are with them are just, you know, basic fighters. They're nothing really special. So I'll just use generic pieces for them. I did find my horses over there. So let's populate our stable a little bit. That one's a donkey, but that's okay. Donkeys need a place to sleep too. All right, so we can put a little cart out here, the family cart. Maybe we'll have along the side of the building, we'll have some supplies and random stuff. I've got some more that I used last time. We had a farmhouse involved in one of our other recent missions, so I left this put together until I needed it again, since like I said, there's no point in taking it apart. I've got random trees, and some of them I digitally printed, and some of them I bought just to make life easier for myself. And I want a little dressing out there in case, as they're approaching this scenario, they get caught. So, you know, what happens if somebody happens to be looking out the window in the direction that they're coming? They got to come up with the plan for how to infiltrate this place. So that's going to be up to them, and whether or not they get found out. You notice too, I put a couple of generic characters. I'll give you a top view of it so you can see a little better. You can see into the stables. The cows are in that pen. There's some sheep in the field. And then inside the building, you can see there's civilians in there that will be at risk throughout the fight. They may want to save them. They may not want to save them. I think my group is going to want to save them, but you never know. So it's just a little additional. I know a lot of people love the theater of the mind aspect where it's all just in your mind, but I'm all about the visuals. I think people understand things better visually. I think they can remember things better visually. So I love to put something like this together and then let them play with it and see what happens. If history is any forecaster, something's going to probably be on fire or get burned down in this. Hopefully it won't be our civilians. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off for this time. We'll see what happens next time. I don't know what. We've got a pretty big fight coming up in a big castle underground complex kind of thing. So maybe I'll bring you back to set that one up, or something else. If you have questions, if you want something covered, if there's something you don't know about TTRPGs that you want to know, reach out to me. Private message me. I'll answer. If it's a real quick, simple answer, I'll answer it right in an email or a DM. Or maybe I'll post another video so that you can see a little bit more detail about how to do it. In the meantime, go find a game. Find some people that want to play, wherever that might be. Reach out to me. I might be able to help you. I don't know. I'm in Michigan, so I'm kind of in the middle of the country, but still kind of remote. The part of Michigan I'm in is not that far from Canada. I'm an hour west of the Canadian border, and a few hours south. To my north is Canada also. So I'm not centrally located to most big cities, but I'm happy to help. And with VTTs, virtual tabletops, your group can be from and living anywhere. So go find a game, learn how to play, practice, and just have fun. That's what it's all about.